He spent more time on the Alabama bench than he did as the Alabama starter. However, 1 year enough for Ty Simpson, the Alabama quarterback, declaring for the NFL draft today after 1 year as the starter, leading Alabama to the first college football playoff as a 12-team format, threw for more than 3,000 yards, and now he will hope to do so for an NFL franchise. Welcome to Southeast Sports Plus. I'm Gerhard Mathangani, joined by Patrick Walsh. Big news of the day, Patrick. Into college football as well. Ty Simpson, the latest to make that move to the next level. How did it hit you when you heard it?
I was a little bit surprised at first, just based on the back half of the season that Ty Simpson had this year. But then when I started to think about it more and more, and when you take a look at who the potential quarterbacks are in next year's draft, I mean, his best chance at going in the first round is probably actually this year. I mean, you would expect Arch Manning's name to be brought up, Trinidad Chambliss, if he gets another year with his waiver, and then so on and so forth, maybe even Gunnar Stockton if he has a good year next year. So, I mean, it's just – I was definitely surprised by the news at first, but it doesn't shock me now knowing that, I mean, really, he's just going up against Fernando Mendoza, Diego Pavia, and Dante Moore over there in Oregon.
Yeah, I think this is really interesting because, like you said, I believe that this move is a little more situational than it is anything else. He's now in a perfect situation where he is in a quote-unquote weaker quarterback class. Now, this class could produce 3 Hall of Famers. You don't know.
Yeah, you don't know.
We're just doing projections as it sits right now in January 2026. However, I think for a guy like Ty Simpson, with his pedigree and with what he was able to put together at the middle of the season, the beginning of the season wasn't great. The end of the season obviously wasn't great either. Then he got hurt, so there will be some questions, and he will have to prove some things along the draft process. The good thing about the draft process is 4 months. There's a lot of time between his last football game where he spent on the sideline and the next time that he will be on an NFL field, which will presumably be in a playoff, in a preseason game. He has plenty of time to show the NFL teams that he's ready to play professional football. But if you look at all the intangibles, he's the son of a coach. He was patient, stayed at Alabama for all that time in an era where nobody does. So he has a lot of the things that you would like to see out of a quarterback from a non-tangible standpoint. I just think they want to see the physical.
Yeah, and I think when you look at this season in general, you brought up that middle stretch of the season, which at the time was a gauntlet, but it turns out, you know, those teams weren't actually what we thought they would be. But at the same time, two things can be true. Those teams didn't pan out to what we thought they would be, and you could also say that Alabama potentially derailed their seasons.
That's right.
So, I mean, there's two sides to every equation here. I think when teams are taking a look at him throughout this draft process, he was Alabama's offense.
That's exactly right.
They had no run game, especially in the Rose Bowl. I mean, we were talking about the SEC championship game. There was absolutely no run game there. So they were a fully one-dimensional offense. You could just, you know, drop back in coverage pretty much every time. They just couldn't run the ball at all and still still be able to have the success that he did, even though you're just throwing the ball a ton.
Right.
I think that's got to speak volumes. You just wonder what would happen at the next level if he were to be paired with a Derrick Henry. Who knows what's going to happen with Lamar Jackson or anything.
Right. I think that it speaks to such a great point because I like the tape junkies. I like the tape heads, the guys that crunch the film. You do not have to be a tape head. You do not have to be a football film junkie to understand that he was being asked to put on the cape every single week. This team could not run the football. For a large stretch, when they were figuring out the offensive line, they couldn't protect him for very long. He was apparently getting teams in and out of – if you listen to the tape guys, they'll tell you this is one of the smartest guys that are in college football. He was getting his team into plays where – the defense would have had it all swallowed up, and he got them into the better play based on what he was able to do pre-snap. And I think all the NFL guys, you know, will like that going into the season. As far as decision-making goes, do you think that this decision was the right one for him? I'll give you my answer first. I think it was situationally, and you touched on it, because the fact that this is not the best quarterback class, And also, too, something is happening in the NFL. Before, this is a little before your time, but before you were an adult, the rookie wage scale for quarterbacks was so inflated that it was demoralizing. The name Jamarcus Russell comes to mind for a lot of people because the Raiders spent like $65 million on this guy.
And that was the last first overall pick that they had.
That's
and
right.
They have the first overall pick this year.
That's exactly right. And I used him and I used that franchise for a reason, because now, because of the rookie wage scale and everything is slotted, you can now roll the dice a couple of times on quarterbacks, and you just don't know who you're going to get. And that's the reason why I think that a few teams in the recent past have rolled the dice on guys where we're left scratching our heads. Is he a first-round guy? I think now a first-round graded talent at the quarterback position, you almost have to put it in a separate category than running back, receiver, tight end, linebacker in the list.
Well, I'll say this. At the time, now I'll preface this with, at the time, Simpson was not a better quarterback than who I'm going to name. But right now, if you were to compare skill sets, Ty Simpson is a better quarterback than Jalen Milroe.
Oh, yes,
I would say without a doubt. But at the time when they were both in college, it was Jalen Milroe, Ty Simpson. It just wasn't his time yet. It's hard to not think about what Ty Simpson first-round quarterbacks and teams rolling the dice on these quarterbacks. You know, it brings up the fact that the NFC East seems to have this down. Jackson Dart had a pretty nice year.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone could have seen Jaden Daniels' success coming. Obviously won the Heisman over there at LSU.
Right.
But also another SEC guy, Dak Prescott. It's been so long now since that rookie year where outside of that first game against the Giants, he just ripped off like I think it was an 11 or a 12-game win streak to lead the Cowboys into the number 1 seed into the playoffs. So, I mean, it's just I almost want to say sometimes in the NFL we're spoiled with great talent coming up right away, right out of the draft, and just being able to light it up. But I don't know if I would fully expect that out of Ty Simpson just based on, you know, some of the decision-making he had in the latter parts of the season. We saw what happened at times when he was under pressure, especially during that Georgia game and during the first quarter of that Oklahoma game.
Right. I had a page up and wanted to go back to it, the first-round draft picks here lately in the NFL. And I just wanted to see if your order was like, hey, is this guy better than this guy? If just compare the two guys. If you could filibuster for like 20 seconds, I'll pull that list up and then we'll do a kind of a quick comparison, or we can play this Kalen DeBoer sound on.
We'll play the Kalen DeBoer sound on his quarterback play in the Rose Bowl.
Ty had an injury, obviously, and he really wanted to try to go out there. And we treated him there at halftime, and he gave it a series. And just I know he feels like he let down the team, and there's no way that that's the case. He went out there and tried to battle, and that's who he is. And so I'm never going to let that, you know, be a thing where, you know, he let us down in any way. And so, you know, making sure he knows that. And, you know, Austin being ready to go, he did some nice things when he got on the football field there tonight.
All right, so I'm going to play a game here.
Okay, here we go. We like playing games.
Would you like Ty Simpson or this guy? I'm going to start in 2022 because in 2019, it was Kyler Murray. I think that Kyler in college was better than when Ty Simpson.
He should have went to baseball, though.
Right, exactly. Joe Burrow and Trevor Lawrence were 20 and 21. So I'll take those guys off the board. In 2022, is Ty Simpson right now as good or better than Kenny Pickett?
Better.
I think he's better as well.
Yeah.
In 2023, is he as good, better, or probably the same as Bryce Young?
See, that's the gray area.
Yeah,
that's the gray area because I mean we've seen what Bryce Young. It's getting there.
Right.
I mean we're going to see Bryce Young for the first time in the playoffs this upcoming week, but that game against the Bucs and then the other game against the Seahawks. I think Ty Simpson's got the edge.
A little bit. I think he's got the edge as well. Other first-round quarterbacks, C.J. Stroud.
C.J. is better.
I think so, too. Anthony Richardson. In my opinion, Ty's better. Yeah. Richardson had all the upside, but Ty was.
He did, but I mean, just like, you know, other quarterbacks under Billy Napier just could not.
Right. Ty was better. Go to 2024. Caleb Williams.
Caleb Williams is better.
I think so, too.
I still think that they need one like Rome Odunze or Luther Burden to just step up as a true wide receiver one. They just still don't really have it.
Yeah. A couple more quarterbacks that were in that class.
There we go.
Jaden Daniels. I think we both think Jaden was better. And Drake May, which at the time, this is the reason why I brought this game up.
Okay.
At the time, if you just take where Drake May, don't think about Drake May now as a potential MVP. Drake May then, Ty Simpson at his peak, as you mentioned, in that 4-game stretch, to me, those are about the same kind of player.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's much, in the next 2 years is going to be the MVP.
I'll say this. I mean, it definitely depends on what system Ty goes into. I mean, you can't just throw him into a situation where, I would fully expect if Ty Simpson were to be drafted in the first round to potentially go to a team that's hiring a coach.
Right.
Just a new system. Because, I mean, all of these other guys, it seems like they have their coach on lock. I mean, maybe Cleveland?
Yeah.
Do you roll the dice on Shadur?
Or
have you seen enough out of him?
Yeah. I don't think I've seen enough out of him to make him my franchise guy, but I've seen enough out of him to at least say, hey, you could battle for the starting position with a guy like Ty Simpson or whoever. Bring another quarterback in and just say, hey, none of you have earned this.
Yeah.
Go battle for it. Go to rookie mini camp, go to mini camp, go to training camp, and then go to battle for it.
I mean, Dylan Gabriel's definitely not better than Ty Simpson.
Right, exactly. Dylan Gabriel was not. Yeah, and I'm just doing first round guys because he's projected as a first round player. The other two, Michael Penix Jr. and J.J. McCarthy.
Penix is better just because he's more versatile. J.J. McCarthy hands the ball off 40 times a game in college, so J.J. is not good. 9, as he likes to say.
Right, and the two from last year was Cam Ward and Jackson Dart. So, I mean, I just did this as a thought experiment because Drake May came to mind. Drake May, and then when you juxtapose it to Anthony Richardson and some of the others, I just thought that you got.
But then again, is Drake May a product of Mike Vrabel?
Right, is he a product of Mike Vrabel and Josh McDaniels? I mean, that's the question.
Yeah, I think because we've seen this story already with Josh McDaniels, with Mac Jones. Look how Mac Jones turned out when he left the system until he got into another quarterback-friendly system over there in San Francisco, and he played well. I mean, every quarterback. If you don't play well in Kyle Shanahan's system, I don't know. There's something wrong with you.
No question.
I mean, now you start to pose the question, if you're Alabama, switching it back to the college level here, do you stay in-house or do you tap into the portal to get one of those top guys?
I think you saw a little bit out of Austin Mack. I think that what Indiana's success is doing right now, it's throwing everybody's mind off about the way to be successful. And I think that some people will throw the baby out with the bathwater, and they'll say, well, we got to go find a proven commodity instead of developing talent. I think you're in an interesting position with Alabama because you can do both. The thought is that you keep one of these two guys, if not both these guys, or you could bring a guy in. I think that they would want to keep both these guys, especially if Ryan Grubb is going to stay as the offensive coordinator.
Yeah, and I just don't really know if you can run that risk, so to speak, because this is a make or break year for Kalen DeBoer, just because the standard is so high. If you end another season at 9-4, I would honestly expect him probably to be fired.
Yeah,
I mean that's just the standard
which is insane, by the way.
It is, but you got to remember who you're succeeding, and some of these other coaches that you could have hired during the cycle. I mean, Curt Cignetti, you could have. I think at the time when Saban retired, Cignetti was already at Indiana, but for cheap.
Yes,
and you could have easily plucked him away there from Bloomington. But when you look at the portal right now, I just don't know if you could trust any of these four guys. The whole Damon Williams situation, which we'll get into here in the next half hour, is just utterly ridiculous what's going on right now. Sam Leavitt, I mean, that situation is starting to get crazier by the day.
Right.
I definitely don't trust DJ Lagway, and Dylan Raiola, I don't trust either. So, I mean, it's just such a sticky situation right now, and it feels like the best, in my opinion, the best guy that was in this portal cycle is already off the board in Brendan Sorsby.
Okay, so you had Sorsby. I thought both Sorsby to me and Byron Brown were kind of the top two guys. I think On 3 and 24/7 and some of the others had them all at least in the top three with Sam Leavitt.
I think it goes Sorsby, then it goes Byron Brown, then it goes Josh Hoover.
Oh, so even before Sam. So Leavitt's not even top three.
Well, I want to save this because I don't think Levitt is all that.
Okay, yeah.
Like honestly,
Yeah.
I've seen him play in
Right.
the Big 12. I think he's a product of, as you mentioned yesterday, Cam Scattaboo,
Right.
And their former wide receiver there, Tyson. I don't think Sam Levitt is all that. Whoever signs it, if you sign him for $6 million, you are in
That's
a
insane.
load of trouble.
That is about to say that is crazy. Maybe it could work at LSU just because of the talent around it, but you would be overpaying there at
Again,
that
is it
position.
Joe Judge or is it Lane Kiffin? We'll find out next year.
We will find out next year. You've been